Hey, Josh here with Crypto Y'all. And if you are crypto curious, you are wanting to make passive wealth and income with crypto, then you're in the right place. The next few moments is my weekly market update where I share some light technical analysis of the Bitcoin price charts, but also what's going on in the rest of the world. What are the macroeconomic things that are happening that might affect the price of our investments and might inform when to take profits, when to sell, when to buy, and different entry points into the market. So hope this is helpful, and stay tuned to the end. I've got a special invitation and opportunity for those of you who are crypto curious. And hey, like this video, help me get it out, comment below, and please hit that bell icon for notifications, subscribe to the channel, all the good stuff. Thank you so much. Crypto Y'all here, helping crypto curious people create passive wealth with crypto. Stay tuned. So going back to the Bitcoin chart here, we're at 20,127 at the time of market open here on a Wednesday. And it's interesting where we're at still. I think we're kind of still on the edge of the knife, if you will. I mean, this pattern that we've been in here is really for the last week or so has been really consistent, and it's just waiting on some macroeconomic stuff to unfold. And I'm having daily conversations with other experts and crypto nerds is what I always call them, but like just the things that are happening in the macroeconomic environment right now are really interesting. A lot of this right here, this sharp downturns had a lot to do with what we're calling contagion in the crypto space. For those of you who were following along with Celsius and Three Arrows Capital, now you've got Voyager, the central exchange, filing for bankruptcy. Not one that I use, but it's a notable name or brand in the crypto world, central exchange world. But one thing that is starting to possibly mark maybe the end of some of this capitulation or this turmoil in the market is Celsius has been able to repay $183 million, basically lowering their liquidation price of Bitcoin all the way down to 2,500. There was a moment a couple of weeks ago where if Bitcoin would have dropped below $15,000, the Celsius would have lost, I can't remember how many billions of dollars in Bitcoin. I mean, they would have they were extremely over their skis from a leverage standpoint, but they have come back, and I have not read the details yet, but they did suspend trading to obviously secure and stay solvent. But it sounds like they didn't have an insolvency problem. They were not insolvent, they were illiquid, which was the main problem. And I don't know if there's private equity money coming in yet. I haven't truly dug into what has allowed them to do so much good work, but it's going to be hard for them to reestablish trust again in the market. But those are the kind of things that create, during bear markets, even more painful downswings from 30K to 20K, right? And we were up at 40K back in May or end of May, right? So this is from here to where we are now is a 50% loss, and it's not that long ago. And it has everything to do with macroeconomic conditions, namely the Fed raising interest rates, being hawkish, and tapering or reducing the quantitative easing, and instead invoking quantitative tightening. Now, there's a famous saying I've said before: "Don't fight the Fed in the market." It's an unfortunate reality that we live in, where a Fed can basically manipulate the market or cause us to not have as much control as we wish we would have. And so, that being said, there's always theories and pundits talking about, well, what's the Fed going to do next? Because this price of Bitcoin right here of 20,000 is almost completely dependent on what the Fed does next. Many think that the decisions of the Fed that have already been made and are being projected are priced into the market right now. Let me show you this tweet by a prominent analyst named Plan B on Twitter. He has this stock to flow model that he follows and kind of preaches. A lot of people hate him for it. A lot of people love him for it. I'm not endorsing him, but it's an interesting update. He said markets expect the Fed to taper QT to reduce balance sheet by $2 trillion. This expectation is priced in. If Fed decides to temporarily halt tapering and not reduce balance sheet because of emergency or war, like in war in Ukraine, like this, the lack of predictability in Ukraine right now is still a major issue in the markets. And we need to understand that, along with wheat supplies, inflation, et cetera. But he's saying whatever it is, if the Fed feels like they're pushing us into the red zone too much, they'll stop raising rates and stocks will rise. And then he's asking the question rhetorically, is this a Bitcoin pump trigger? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I think is happening and what we'll end up seeing, and I said this a few months ago, I think what we'll end up seeing is the Fed is playing hardball with the markets right now. It's being the tougher older brother, for lack of better words. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to raise rates again. We've got a CPI print coming out on Friday. People don't realize this, but I think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be not good. I don't think it's going to be like some like rainbows and unicorns. Everything is fixed. Jerome Powell is our hero. I don't think it's going to be one of those reports, but I also don't think it's going to be an end of the world CPI report. My guess is that maybe inflation went up a little bit or it stayed the same. But you got to remember these CPI reports are lagging reports. So the last CPI report that we got in June was from May inflation. That's Consumer Price Index, CPI. Well, this one that we'll get on Friday, it might be tomorrow. Actually, I may be wrong about it. It might actually be tomorrow. So if you're thinking about deploying capital right now today, I would hold off and wait and see what happens tomorrow, just to maximize your entry points. You might get a better price because if it's a bad report that comes out, the market will likely take a correction or an impulsive move down. And that'll be an opportunity for you to get a better price than you would today. Also, I like to invest second half of the day instead of the first half of the day. Market opens are called the amateur hour for a reason. They always come out of the gates. They might come out of the gates green, but the sentiment is how are we closing the market each day? Now, if the CPI comes out and says, it's still bad, but it wasn't as bad as we thought it would be, that'll be something the markets will react positively to that. But my point in saying that, is that I think we're going to get this lackluster CPI report. I think the markets are going to struggle a little bit more. And then I think in July at the FOMC meetings are going to come out, or the meeting minutes are going to come out. The chairman's going to come out and say, we're going to raise rates again by 3 basis points. I think that's going to happen. And when he does, I think the market will take a jolt. I think Bitcoin's price will take a jolt. I think it's possible that we probably see a $17,000 or $18,000 Bitcoin again in the near term. But then here's my theory. Again, not financial advice, not Nostradamus. I have no idea what's going to happen. Invest at your own risk, but I feel like they're not going to raise rates again after July. Possibly later this year after midterms. And it just seems like that people tell you, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Like if you just look at all the charts and you do all the analysis and you're looking at the indicators and all the stuff that the TAs do, man, it just seems like we're lining up for an impulsive move upward. And the catalyst or the trigger or pump trigger would be literally just the Fed taking their foot off the gas and coasting for a little bit, and not being as tight with their policy. And other things that could happen. I mean, who knows how long this war in Ukraine will happen? Putin has cancer. Like, if Putin died, the market would go through the roof, I think. I mean, even if there was a treaty signed, or if Zelensky says, I won't join NATO for 5 or 10 years, like anything like that happens, the markets will pump. So we're at this really interesting place, again, this inflection point in the market where it's very possible that we see downward action from here, but we're probably near the bottom. And like I've said before, if you're buying Bitcoin or anything else right now, and you're trying to time the bottoms or whatever, you're in the spitting distance from the bottom. So you're not an idiot if you're buying Bitcoin at $20,121, even if it goes to 18,000. When Bitcoin goes back up to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it goes to, and you bought at 21 as opposed to 18, you're not an idiot. You're a genius. So that's, and Bitcoin again is the canary in the coal mine. Altcoins will follow Bitcoin's liquidity. So, or positive price action. So when we see Bitcoin going up, we know that our altcoin positions will find, obviously there's outliers at all times and nothing's guaranteed, but if we've done our research and we're in good investments and we have protocols that we are a part of that have awesome utility, and I'm going to share some altcoins with my members here in a minute, but like that's what we're waiting on. The other possibility is that Bitcoin goes up to like 28K temporarily and then bottoms out. But I've shared in previous updates that there's a lot of theory out there that this was a false top last November, and it wasn't really the cycle. As a matter of fact, if you look up Gaussian channel, let's see if I can find a quick one, a quick image here just to show you where we're at. This may or may not. I have not vetted this. There's this channel of highs and lows in charts that you can look at. Again, unprepared here to truly show you a good explanation with this, but yeah, here it is. So now you can kind of see, you can watch Bitcoin bounce off the top and the bottom of this channel. And anytime it's come under the 200 week, I think this is the 200 week moving average, there's been a massive impulsive move. Boom. This is where we are right now. This is old, this is outdated, but like if you extrapolated this out, we are we have broken through the bottom of the Gaussian channel again. This is old data, but I just wanted to show you the pattern. It's fascinating. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with the price of Bitcoin based on the Fed and based on the macroeconomic news. Look at this. I've shown you this before. US dollar currency index, the DXY, through the roof right now. This is not an altcoin. This is not oil. This is the power of the dollar against other currencies around the world. I mean, what an investment that would have been starting last November, right? So this is ridiculous. Like, this is fever pitch. The next resistance level for the DXY, just so you know, is $120. So if this goes to 120, the inverse effect is Bitcoin will go down. They are basically, at this point, they're basically rivals. They are no longer, they broke correlation a long time ago. And so now what we're watching is, man, surely we're at the bottom here, because this has got to be, we've got to be near the top here, because you can see, like, even in the last 5 years, and then compared to all time, there's only been 4 other times it's been this high in the last, since we moved off of the gold standard. Fascinating. It's just super fascinating. I think this is the information you need to, these are the macro elements that you need to keep your head on while we're making decisions moving forward. If you've got a short-term time horizon for any of your capital, it's important to pay attention to these things. If you got a long-term time horizon and the money you're investing is just sheer money for speculation and you don't need it, which is really great place to be in, and I strongly encourage that, then some of this stuff may not be as effectual for you week to week. But I always like to provide this either at minimum for emotional support, because investing can be emotional. But if you find yourself too emotionally wrapped up in the performance of your cryptos, you need to reassess your capital outlay and reconsider the amount that you're investing. Okay. But that being said, there's some crazy events that we're about to see. We're either going to see a sharp breakup or a sharp breakdown pretty soon. And a lot of people think that recession is either already here or it's going to be short-lived. I don't know. It'll be fascinating to know, but I hope this was helpful. I hope this is something that you can use practically or pragmatically in your investing journey. And I always love to provide this information at minimum for myself, but this is the way I look at the market, and I hope it's the way you can look at the market too. Okay, so I hope that market update was informative and helpful for you. And if you want to learn more about what I'm doing, what I do is I take about 10 people through a cohort every so often. Me personally, it's a qualification application process, but it's a 10-person cohort where we go through 4 primary core training sessions. We have a community. You have unlimited access to me as the crypto coach and enthusiast, and we learn how to invest. Not just play the crypto slot machine and gamble, but actually learn how to use what I call the crypto flywheel investment strategy that includes cash flow, appreciation, and leverage. And we use those things in concert with each other to expand our net worth predictably, but also just create cash flow for lifestyle expenses and to have house money to invest into things that we truly believe are the future. So if you want to learn more about joining my cohort and kind of going through a quick, fast shortcut or fast forward way of learning that's high touch and very human, I started Crypto Y'all because there's just a lot of internet scam and smarm stuff out there that I want this to be a place kind of like, I'm from the South, Southern hospitality, like let's discuss things like friends do, right? So Crypto Y'all, let's be a community together. And so my cohort is for people looking for that feel. You want a human approach, high touch, consultative way of learning how to create passive income with crypto. I'm your guy. If you're interested in applying for my cohort, simply go to cryptoyall.co/cohort.
call, and book a call and fill out the little survey after you book the call. It's just a short, simple survey. It takes about a minute to do. It'll just help me before we actually have the call to kind of know where you are and what context you're coming from. And then we'll jump on a call. And if it's a good fit, I'll invite you to enroll. And if not, I'll point you in a better direction, I promise. Okay? cryptoyall.co/call, and I'll talk to you soon.